I'm envious of the relationship my child has with my husband, and I wish my husband still treated me the same. I love my child, but I can't help but feel a twinge of envy whenever I see him interact with my husband. I'd never fault him for it. He has the dad that every kid should have, the dad that lights up at the sight of you, and will show up to every sports match, and will schedule dad and son outings on the weekend. The trouble I'm having is that it used to be me. I used to be the one that lit up my husband's face. I used to be the one he'd make time to do things with, but I'm not anymore. Before having kids, I never was worried about being pushed to the sidelines. The love a parent has for their kids is a different type of love than they have for their spouse. And it is, but I didn't realize there would be a cap on the quantity. There is no love left for me. I get the tidbits, the scraps, the leftovers. We've been married for 16 years at this point. Didn't even have our child until 10 years in. We had a strong marriage. We made time for one another. Went on dates. Had exciting, passionate, mind-mush-inducing lovemaking 3 to 5 times a week. Would greet each other with a smile, hug, and a kiss when the other got home. Then around age 3, poof, it was gone. Now when my husband arrives home, I get a placating pat on the back or kiss on top of my head, while our child gets an excited open arms hug spin around while happily screeching daddy. If I try to give my husband a real kiss, he will turn his cheek and say he just got home and is stressed. There's no more date nights. We don't live near family who could babysit, and he isn't comfortable having someone we don't know super well watch the kiddo until they're older. Lovemaking is now 3 to 4 times per month. If I try to initiate, it's a turnoff for him because I'm too forward and eager. I come across as desperate. So I wait, and wait, and wait, for whenever my husband remembers that I happen to be around, and he should throw me a D every once in a while. It's not like we haven't talked about it. There are no secrets. I try to be more understanding of his work stress, and he says he will be more receptive towards my needs. That will last a week until going back to the status quo. This morning I wake up and roll over to kiss my husband good morning, and he puts a hand out to stop me, saying he's busy on his phone with a work text. And he was. I read the text. But not 1 minute later our son ran into our room and jumped up. My husband immediately put down that oh so important work text to hug and snuggle. So this is my life, where I set a daily timer to allow myself to cry for 15 minutes when no one else is around. And every time I see my child's face light up at the sight of his dad, I feel so much joy, but also deep down I wonder why we both can't be loved. I don't have a cap on how much love I can feel or give. My love language is physical touch, and I feel duped. The epitome of the late 30s housewife cliché, whose husband is sick of her. I never knew a person could feel such vast loneliness while sitting less than 3 feet away from someone who vowed to spend the rest of their lives together. Edit. This got a lot more attention than expected. I appreciate the helpful comments. I'm going to have one more conversation with my husband, basically laying everything out and insisting on couples counseling. During our past conversations, I did express myself fully and things would get better for a bit then go back to sucking. I think I'm at the point where I'm not willing to go back to our new status quo, so that'll be different. Of course, this being Reddit, there were also a lot of off-the-wall assumptions that I will address. 1. I'm not jealous of my child. I purposefully chose the word envy because it's a feeling of wanting what someone else has, whereas jealous has a threatening connotation to it and involves resentment. There's absolutely no resentment here. 2. To those saying I'm going to go crazy, I would never hurt my child, nor have I ever. My husband is also not a danger to me. 3. I have never cheated, nor have I gotten big and lazy. 4. For those wondering why my husband has the sudden change, I did reply to one commenter shortly after posting about my husband's terrible childhood, and he thought the toddler years would be difficult for him to process. But we seem to be stuck with a huge wall between us now. 5. My husband is in individual therapy, 12 years, but I am currently not. I will have to look into online options since I don't have a sitter. 6. I have my own hobbies and group of friends that I go out with, but I'd still enjoy spending time with a husband who wants me. Otherwise, we're just awkward roommates. 7. No, I'm not a love-crazed person. Didn't realize wanting weekend love and maybe once during the week was considered unreasonable to some. It never was problem before, and my husband hasn't really discussed it with me now. Just rebuffed and avoided me. 8. Lastly, I'm not a mooch living off my husband's hard work. While I mentioned being a housewife, that doesn't mean I don't work. I left my regular full-time job after having a baby since my pay wouldn't cover daycare. But I've transitioned to running my own company online while taking care of my child and keeping the house up. I'm making over twice as much as I was pre-baby while still doing all the housewife stuff. I can be fully self-sufficient if need be.